I've been married for 7 years. I cheated on my husband with young guy, Steven actual name, and guess what? It's okay. I guess you could say we are acquaintances. We met a few years ago, chit-chatted. I met him at a dog park near my house. Steven was the first person I've had sex with that wasn't my husband. Some people define cheating as everything, kissing, brief flirtation, or just mindless fun or whatever. I don't. I've kissed other men during our marriage at company dinner when one of my husband's co-workers takes a quick break to blow their nose for a few minutes in the bathroom. That's harmless, just a make-out sesh with someone at a holiday party. From my brief exploration of Reddit, many disagree with my definition, and that's okay. The one thing that bothered me was the sameness of most posts, just rehashing the same thing repeatedly. Most of the users claim infidelity ruined their lives. Sometimes, that seems to be accurate, but often, from the little snippets of information that disclose sometimes, it is apparent infidelity acts to explain more profound unhappiness. The real problem has more to do with bad jobs, fears about money, or spending so much time on their children. This group will downvote this post. I sincerely hope it gives them a minor dopamine hit and some pleasure. But it doesn't matter to me since I have much more freedom and control over my life and find enjoyment in more important things than getting angry and hitting a little arrow thing, as though anyone should care. I want to give a slightly fresh perspective. Cheating doesn't have to ruin your life or marriage. Guess what? Honesty is not the best policy. Discretion and omission are more important. And I know I'm not the only woman that thinks this way, but I don't see this view expressed very often, if at all. Steven, fun time, don't feel guilty. I cheated on my husband with Steven. He is 25. Steven used to be a personal trainer to geriatric widows in their 70s before COVID and now does various gig jobs. We've been friendly for 2 years. Our interactions happen at random. I'm out for a jog or walking my dog, and sometimes I'll see him every day for 5 days in a row, then I won't see him for weeks. He's attractive. He's tall, works out, decently educated, tall, genuine, and also harmless. Since he moved to the city, we run into each other, chit-chat about this or that, our lives, whatever everyone else in the country is talking about. Politics, life, gossip about the personal lives of a close friend. A few weeks ago, I went on a jog. The dog park area is less than a quarter of a mile away. The day we had our fling, I wanted to bump into him. At first, as I started getting closer to the park, it didn't look like he was in his regular spot. I got a little closer, and outside of the fenced-in area, near a bench, I hear Amanda, not my real name, by the way, and he's tucked away near an enclosed picnic table you can't see ever well unless you're right in front of it. He usually walks several dogs, but he just had 2 that morning. We began our routine chit-chat, filling each other in on the highlights from the last time we spoke. Somewhere in the conversation, we both agreed it was nice to see people not wearing masks outside. Then he revealed a juicy brief look into his personal life, which he rarely gets into. Steven said, "It will be nice physical touch again." I giggled and made the sarcastic, "Oh yeah, I'm sure the tall guy with goes shirtless in the summers and gets the attention of moms pushing strollers has suffered so much. Poor baby, it must be so rough for you. I figured you'd be on all the hookup apps." Then he told me how his mom has a medical condition that makes her vulnerable to COVID. "But you're vaccinated, you're good to go," was what I told him. "No, I still have to get the second shot, and even though my mom's fully vaccinated, I want to wait until I get the second one. It seems pretty stupid to break the dry spell, jeopardize things when I only have a week left to wait." Then I asked him about his last hookups before COVID. We laugh and joke around. I mentioned some details about my sexual history before getting married. The few people that had been in the park disappeared because it looked like it would rain. During our conversation, a few times, he touched my shoulder after I cracked a joke. My bare leg rested on the bench, and we were sitting so close his hand was touching it. The rest was simple, 2 people getting horny, talking about sex, and something got sparked. The conversation went from making jokes about our past partners and sexual likes and dislikes to me saying something, "You know, worst comes to worst. We are good friends, I think now, so you can always settle for a mature woman like myself." I can't remember precisely the lines that followed from that point. It escalated to us half joking to being half serious in a kind of I double dare you way. We found a spot where no one would see us. The experience was great. We both came hard and quickly, ending up out of breath after a 100-meter race. And that's it. It was fun. Maybe we will do it again. Who knows? I don't feel guilty about it. I'm sure people will get angry and say, "How could I do this to my husband?" And then recommend how I need to come clean and tell him everything. Why would I do that? That's stupid. My husband makes it possible for me to have a carefree existence, never worrying about bills or ever having to twice about buying whatever I want when I want. People will say, "Oh, so you love your husband for his money." Duh. If Scott were poor or could not provide financially, I wouldn't be married. But guess what? If I doubt he would have married me if I were uneducated, obese, and unattractive. It works both ways. We both made rational calculations going into the marriage. He provides me with financial security, and in exchange, he gets an attractive wife that's out of his league and who the other men stare at during business dinners and fantasize about. The only thing I wanted to add, really my entire motivation for writing this post in the first place, is to say, I don't feel guilty, I feel no obligation to tell him. And it would be insane to mention Steven, the hot dog walker. I don't want to be in a relationship with Steven. I will not marry him. There's zero chance of that. Zero. Why would I leave my current life, where I am free in every aspect, to engage in some fling with a guy who has to worry about every purchase he makes, including checking how much money he has in the bank before going out to eat? That sounds like hell. And hard work and trying to get ahead and all that stuff they tell you adding up to what for them? A couple of decades to enjoy themselves now that they're retired, big whoop. They were duped and got nothing to show for it and still spend half their time worrying whether they can go on vacation or buy a new car, always anxious, carefully watching every little pleasure they allow themselves. And most of their lives, how did they spend being told what to do? That's barely a life. I should say, I don't think we should force people to live disposal lives, we should guarantee everyone basics, but let's be realistic, that will not happen soon and may not happen at all. That's why I don't understand so many other people that come on here day in and day out, whining about how cheating destroyed their lives or can't take the guilt of having slept with someone else behind their partner's back. Or the people that comment saying honesty and trust are the foundation of a healthy marriage. I mean, for some people, sure, but I think anyone that thinks telling my husband I slept with someone he doesn't even know exists would be idiotic. Nothing good would come from it. It wouldn't be good for him or me. Also, I don't feel guilty about it or have some nagging guilt that plagues and consumes me. The thing with Steven was fun. I enjoyed it. Maybe it will happen again, or perhaps it was a one-time thing, but either way, not that big of a deal. It was fun in the same way showing up high for class or prom was fun, just quick, meaningless pleasure. I'm also smart enough to not to share this with people that know my husband, even with my close friends who I trust. Most of my friends from childhood would get angry, not because I think deep down they are outraged, though maybe some are. Still, they did all the things I knew would lead nowhere, marrying middling men whose careers are often in a precarious state, having children to around or before 30 was whatever aspirations and desires they once had were dead. Even that opportunity was narrowing, all the while moving themselves to death, never sleeping, and then having a few hours a day to themselves, which they fill with TV and emotional eating, which has made most of them overweight. If I told them, they would give me the "oh my God, that's awful" treatment, and give me the view of love and marriage that exists in the notebook, not real life. However, they would get a thrill getting to see themselves as above me, morally or ethically, because they adopted the honesty and openness stuff that couples say in their wedding vows. Not anything else to say, I just thought there might be someone that could benefit from a more realistic view of marriage and relationships, not the soap opera stuff I've come across since scrolling through the various relationship forums. Women, you don't have to feel guilty about cheating. Sometimes it is something that happens. If you want to feel guilty, that's fine, but if you don't want to feel guilty, that's also fine. Sometimes cheating is just fleeting pleasure, something that spontaneously arises, and there's no reason to destroy your life over it. Enjoy life, quit letting other people define your views about the world. I've found, and I also respect the people that disagree, they are meaningless, it doesn't work, the Hallmark version of the world. Cheating is okay, honesty is rarely the best policy, maybe try to enjoy life, it's okay to have some secrets and things that private that are only for yourself.